rapid pace out here early in the second. Levert, hey, knocks it down. Rondo's on the run. Stops. Hits Love fires. Cavs reset with a fresh 14. Under 3 to go in the half. Garland works on Holiday. Pause it for a moment. Shovels to Mobley. Garland, step back three, drew a foul, knocks it down.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children and ages, you are listening live to a special edition of the All Things Cavs podcast. This is episode number 26. We are here today, as always, Brandon Lewis, Joey Schneider, talking play-in tournament, Joey.
Oh, my God. They're going to do it. They're going to shock the world tonight. I cannot wait to watch this game. Last episode, we were a little pessimistic. We were a little down. And today my body is ready. We are rocking. Got a text from Uncle Ruben over at the Den of Dogs podcast. He was amped up last night, said Cavs are taking it. I'm going with his optimism. Let's preview this game. Let's talk about what they need to do to win, and let's pray that they get in tonight, because I don't want to face Charlotte or Atlanta. I want to get in tonight. I want to I shouldn't say eliminate, but I want to put Brooklyn on its heels of elimination from these playoffs.
So in a way, if you think about it, because we only played them 5 days ago, this is almost like a series of like 2 games. It's like a 2-game series where you get 3 days off in between. So we do have, a little bit of that advantage. Obviously, our guys played Sunday against Milwaukee, but we didn't have to work that hard. Milwaukee really didn't play anybody. Yeah, we gave up the lead late, kind of went off the gas pedal. Fact of the matter is, though, we pretty much killed them. And now we get ready for essentially, what you would call back-to-back meaningful games. Brooklyn took the first game Friday. We come back here in a pivotal game because, as Joey mentioned, if we win this game, we will go to Boston on Sunday. And I think the advantage here is with the Cavs because, like I said, we already played them, and we have, in my opinion, the better depth. I think Brooklyn, as I talked about, obviously we know how good they can be with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, but they also do not play defense, which is one thing the Cavs do very well. So to me, the biggest key of this game for the Cavs is just stay in the ball game. Don't let Brooklyn get up by 10 or 15 points early. Even if you're down only a couple points at the end of the first quarter, make it close. Make them battle you back and forth, because the Cavs, as a defensive team, are used to being in low-scoring, kind of grinded-out ball games, where I feel like with Brooklyn, if you just stay on their toes, yes, they have, as we talked about, the 2 superstar S players in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But outside of that, they don't really have a lot of production. We know Bruce Brown can be effective a little bit. We know Seth Curry can be effective a little bit, but those guys are also role players, right? So it's like some nights they're going to do good, some nights they may not hit a shot. And so really for them, it's those 2 guys are bust. Where the Cavs, we've seen it all year, right? The team mentality, getting production from everyone. That's going to be the biggest key to victory tonight, in my opinion. For me,
the key, there's multiple keys to victory, but the biggest key to victory is neutralizing KD and Kyrie. And that's something the Cavs have done well when they've played Brooklyn, is they're able to figure out who to put on KD if they need to double team him, if they need to bring someone over, and really locking down Kyrie. Now, these 2 do not slow down. They don't. And especially they know, this game is on their backs. So if you're not going to be able to neutralize KD, you're not going to be able to neutralize Kyrie, but if you can keep them in check, keep them from having 40-point games or going for triple doubles, then you're in a good spot. If you, just like when we play the Sixers, I say, if you can't let Embiid do it, you got to get the ball into someone else's hands. You have to make somebody else on the Nets beat us. Key number 2, Karis LeVert. This guy can create his own shot. He can drive the lane. He can hit the three. He can hit the mid-range. He's got an offensive tool set that, a lot of players wish they had. He can go in, you go out. He needs to be the Karis LeVert that we traded for. And he's shown glimpses of it since we traded for him. And it needs to be his coming out party. Number 2, Kevin Love needs to be Kevin Love from the Bucks game. 35 points in what? I think like 18 minutes. He needs to be precise. He needs to be accurate. He needs to bully down there on the blocks. He needs to find his shots when he's open. He needs to pass the ball when when he's backing someone down. If he sees someone cutting, I mean, he's a huge key to victory off of the bench. And my last one is Evan Mobley. I'm talking to you right now personally, Evan Mobley. You were named, they just had the 15 best players the 25 best players under 25. Darius Garland was number 9 on that list. Jared Allen was number 18. Evan Mobley was number 15. They already have him as one of the best players under the age of 25. I think he's 19 or something, like 19 or 20. I always get the ages mixed up, but I know he's 19 or 20 years old. Young man, you're 7 foot tall. You can leap out of the building. You can shoot the three. You have a decent mid-range game. Get aggressive. I don't want to see this 13 points, 9 boards. Tonight is the night that you say, I am the rookie of the freaking year. You go out there and you pound that paint. You hit those threes if you need to. You hit the mid-range. Go after those boards like your life depends on it. If he can be aggressive, if he can keep Brooklyn on their toes going, how do we stop this guy? Then it opens up everybody else. Garland is going to be Garland. I fully expect Darius Garland to have a great game tonight. If we can get LeVert going, if we can get Mobley going, if we can make somebody else besides Durant or Irving beat us, or make it really hard for them, try and tire them out by the end of the game, the Cavs could win this game. And then we could potentially be going into a playoff series with, I don't know the status of Jared Allen right now. I know he's been going through pregame warmups and they're just trying to manage pain tolerance right now. But you give him another, 5 or 6 days. And I think that this Cavs team is going to be dangerous if they make it past tonight and get into that play-in game. Or I'm sorry, into the playoffs. Tonight is the night. I think JB is going to have them up. I think he's going to have some sort of speech, win one for the, win one for the city, win one for the land, whatever it may be. He's going to have them on point. I think he's going to be on top of these refs like crazy. And, hopefully, I don't care that the game was away. I think that you're going to see this Cavs team come out fired up. And actually, to add one more to that list is they cannot tire themselves out in the end. Whatever gear they need to find, they need to hit it. Because how many games have we watched this season where they have the lead or it's close, and then the last 6-7 minutes they end up losing by 13-14? They need to hit that. They need to hit that next gear, and they need to be the ones to start taking the game away and finish it off. Those are the keys of victory for me. And I think I'm not going to say I think. I am going on a limb here. I'm saying the Cavs win tonight. I say they win by 6.
I'm not gonna predict right now if they win or lose. I want to piggyback off one of your points here, and that's Mobley. And that is, you talked about him offensively. One of the keys for me is going to be defensively. Can he keep that big boy, former Cleveland Cavalier, the Penguin, Andre Drummond off the glass? Because the last time these two teams played, Drummond, with, by the way, Mobley most of the time in their guarding him, 7-11, 15 points, 12 rebounds. He cannot get 15-12 on 7 of 11 shooting. It's a bad killer for the Cavs when they give up that many rebounds. We talked about it all year long. They need a defensive rebound. They need to get out. They need to get out in space. They need to limit big man production, in my opinion. The other thing, too, about Garland is, and you're right, I do expect DG to have a phenomenal game. But I also do not want to see him have 4 points, 6 assists, whatever the line would be in the first half. I think he needs to come out and be a little bit more aggressive scoring-wise early, because I think that sets the tone for this team. We talked about it. They don't need to run out of gas early. Well, part of that is they can't fall behind early in the game and use all their energy in the second and third quarter to catch up. And I think to set the tone for this game, Darius Garland is your primary scorer in your starting lineup to start the game. Him and Caris LeVert. We talked about LeVert being able to make his own shot. I think if those two guys get off to a good start early, this game is going to be close. And like I said, I think Brooklyn, who has inexperience at head coach, I don't even know if Steve Nash coaches the team. I feel like they are just they're not a team. Like, if you ask me, they're not a team. They're just a bunch of guys. They don't play like a team a lot of the time we see it. That's one of the reasons why, with all this talent, they are where they are at in the play-in tournament. But I feel like the Cavs, their excuse has been more injury-wise, and if we can show up and if we can play to our potential, we have a chance to beat Brooklyn tonight. Does it happen? Listen, I don't know. Can it? Yeah. Am I going to predict it? No, I won't.
Yes, you are.
No,
yes,
I'm
you
not.
are. Before this podcast is over, I'm kicking it back to you, and you better have an answer. I don't want to hear I'm not gonna. That we are in the business of predictions, Brandon.
Hey, I just gave my prediction. They're not going to win this game. I don't think they're going to win the game. Can they? Absolutely. Will they? I don't think so, because I think the pressure is on Brooklyn more than that. I think Brooklyn would rather play Boston than Miami. That's not saying the Cavs win it, but I think Brooklyn. Listen, people see Brooklyn as the most dangerous 7th seed of all time. Vegas has them, believe it or not, 3rd best odds to win the title behind Milwaukee and Phoenix. So there's more pressure on them tonight than the Cavs. If the Cavs lose tonight, it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they're in the play-in. Yeah, they make the tournament. Yeah, it's been a surprise, whatever. If Brooklyn loses tonight, that's all they're talking tomorrow on all the national shows.
I agree with you, but I think that's a big part of what's going to contribute to the Cavs winning tonight, which is the Cavs lose. Guess what? They're going to be playing either Atlanta or Charlotte to get into the playoffs again. Brooklyn loses, they're one step away from not even making the playoffs. After being hailed as the team to beat all season long. So I think the pressure is 100% on Brooklyn, and we're going to see if they can live up to it. But I think that this is big for Kyrie. It's big for KD. I think the Cavs are going to be amped up. I think you're going to see an amped up bench. Kevin Love, a guy who we've talked about the bench for so long, all of these podcasts. And I think the guy to me who emerged on the bench, especially later in this season, if I had to pick someone outside of Kevin Love, would probably be Lamar Stevens. I mean, he could shoot the 3. His defense is, I put him up there defensively as far as bothering, other players, getting them to make mistakes. I put him up there with Okoro. You put those 2 on the floor, you're definitely defensive minded at that point. But he's also got a strong offensive game. We've seen him put up 20 off the bench. So, it's just who's going to step up. Everyone's got to step up and play their game. The Cavs absolutely, I think, are going to beat Brooklyn tonight. But in the off chance that I am wrong, and Brandon, I don't appreciate your pessimism. Not today. Not today of all days, Brandon. If the Cavs do somehow lose this game, who would you rather play Atlanta or Charlotte to get that final spot.
I was thinking about this, and I think I texted this in our group chat the other day. The ironic thing is, if the Cavs lose this game, they would play one of their first two home opponents of the season, which I mean, that's just the way things work out. I don't know what to tell you, but I was thinking about it, and both of these teams have gave the Cavs a little bit of problems this year. But I think Charlotte would be the better opponent for us.
I agree with you 100%.
I think Atlanta, listen, Trae Young, you can complain about his flopping all you want, but the fact is he's a superstar. He's lethal. They got 3-point shooting everywhere. And as good as LaMelo Ball has been for Charlotte this year, who else on that team really, scares you in terms of, Kelly Oubre, the second game of the year against the Cavs went crazy. But is that going to happen again? Probably not. I think the Cavs match up a lot better against Charlotte. And if the Cavs do play Charlotte, I think the Cavs would be favored in that game. And I do expect the Cavs to, win that game if that scenario happens. Also on Atlanta, they would be playing desperate because, as we know, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They may not even make the playoffs. They have to win 2 games. So I feel like that in the back of their mind, playoff experience, I think that would all work against the Cavs, and I would rather see Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree. Charlotte to me is the easier matchup. And LaMelo, I don't think has had as good of a year this year as he did last year. Kelly Oubre went off that second game, and he had a pretty good first half of the season, and that he's really flattened out now. You mean PJ Washington doesn't scare me. Montrezl Harrell doesn't scare me. Gordon Hayward's out, I believe, for the rest of the season. So, I mean, if we lose, I pray that somehow Charlotte finds a way to beat Atlanta. Because like you said, Trae Young can take over a game. Trae Young can drop 50 points on you. It can happen. And then, like you said, DeAndre Hunter, great defender. He can hit the 3. I don't know I think Gallinari's hurt. I'm not sure. If he's not, he can hit the 3. Bogdanovich can hit the 3. Herter can hit the 3. On top of that, you got Clint Capella. I mean, to me, Atlanta's a scary team because they could go off at any moment. So I would much rather play the Hornets. I think that the Cavs match up a lot better. But I don't think we're going to have to worry about it because they're going to beat the Nets tonight by 6. And, I definitely want my praise when we come back next week.
Listen, I will say that if the Cavs win tonight, I will not be shocked because I think that they can do this. Now, do I think that they will? Now, just the fan in me really says yes, and you will see when it comes time. If the Cavs do make the postseason, as we're getting a nice little thumbnail shot right there. Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome. I was going to do a thumbs up, but I didn't.
If the Cavs do make the postseason, you will see, as I always say, the fandom always comes out of me in the postseason. Even when I don't think they're going to win, there's always a shot in the back of my head that, yes, they will win. This isn't the postseason, though, as I will remind everybody all day and every day. This is the play-in tournament. This doesn't count for the regular season. This doesn't count for the postseason. This is an anomaly stat that you'll have to look up somewhere on the internet after this game is over. Cavs can do this. Question is, will they? I'm going to say it's a very close game. I think Brooklyn wins by 4. I think it's a little bit more low scoring. I think that will benefit the Cavs. I'm going to say like 110-106. I think it's very close to the end. Kevin Durant hits a mid-range jump shot right over our head. Boom, makes the shot. They hit a couple free throws at the end. I think that's how this game goes down. But could I very well see in the reverse? I could.
Yeah, I'm going 116. What did you say?
I said 110-106.
I'm going 116-110 Cavs.
All right.
I think we're up by 2. We get the ball into Darius Garland. They foul us. They throw up a shot near the end of the game. We get the rebound. They foul us again. 2 more free throws. We bang them in, and that's the ball game. So that's my thinking. If it doesn't happen, we got another chance against Atlanta, who we have beaten. We got another chance against Charlotte, who again we have beaten. So, I think that if the Cavs don't win tonight, even though I think Charlotte's a better matchup, I still think they beat the Hawks. I'm hoping that we don't come back here next podcast just sad clowns, all depressed, talking about the end of the season, because then we're gonna have to start talking about draft prospects. And I just started putting together my NBA draft, mock draft list. So I don't want to talk about that too early. I want to keep talking about the playoffs. And I think the Cavs are going to do it. I think that they don't want to go home. I think that they know that Jared Allen is around the corner. And if they can pick up this big win tonight, we might have a very healthy Cavs team going in to play Miami.
Well, if we win tonight, we'd actually go play Boston.
I'm sorry, Boston. And I am much better playing Boston than playing Miami, because I told you we had this conversation. I don't know if we did it on the podcast. It may have been off the podcast. I said, and let's see if you remember, who did I say when they came back was going to make Miami crazy dangerous?
Victor Oladipo.
Do you know what his stat line was the other night?
Somebody sent it to me.
It was like
scored 40
points, like 17 assists or 17 rebounds, something like that. Like 7 or 8. The other stat was 7 or 8. So it was I think it might have been like 40 points, 17 assists, some crazy. I'm like, this is why they waited. This is why they didn't trade him, because now when last week we were talking about, the Cavs maybe needing a wing or something like that. You were talking about Jimmy Butler being a wing for the Heat. Now this is where you can put Jimmy Butler on the wing. You got you'd have Lowry at the 1, Oladipo at the 2, Butler at the 3 if they want to push. That's a scary lineup. Out of Bio at 5. So the Heat scare me, but for some reason the combination of Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart, those guys don't scare me. I think that we have enough scrappiness to go one-on-one with Boston, who they themselves are scrappy. So I think that if Jared Allen comes back healthy, they would have a much tougher time with the 3 7-footers than other teams would.
I'll say this. I think Brooklyn scares me more tonight than either of those top two, Boston or Miami. I've never been. We talked about this before. Miami to me, for some reason, until they go and they beat. I've never been the biggest fan of Miami this year. I have discounted them, and I know that they are the number 1 seed. And I know that they have all this bench depth, and they got Oladipo back, and I know he scored 40. But for some reason, in my heart of hearts, I think the Cavs could beat Miami. And I don't know why. If you ask me, if you put a gun to my head and ask me why, I don't know why. It's just something that tells me the Cavs match up well with Miami. Now, we don't play well in Miami, but regardless of that stat, for some reason, I feel better about going into the playoffs than I do about the play-in tournament.
Miami has always been terrifying to me. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's a very, very well coached team with a lot of talent, a lot of all-stars, and they are one unit. That's why they're the number 1 seed. I'll tell you the team that scares the living crap out of me. It's not Boston. It's not the Bucks. It's the 76ers.
They scare me too.
That is just trust the process. Indeed. Joel Embiid ended up becoming I think he was a scoring leader this year. Because LeBron went out.
First center since Shaq. I don't know what year, but it was like 2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah, and you've thrown comparisons out there with him and Shaq. The only difference is Joel Embiid can shoot the ball. He can hit the mid range. He can hit threes. He's a good free throw shooter. I mean, this guy can do it all, and he does it at like 7 foot, 7'1", or 270, 280 pounds. Like, man, then they got James Harden, which James Harden's been playing like James Harden. we were making fun of him playing on Brooklyn earlier in the year. Like, does James Harden even still play basketball? Because it just seemed like he wasn't playing like he wanted to. And it seemed like he got in shape and started playing like the James Harden of old in real quick order once he got traded to Philly. So that's a team that I would be scared of. But I'd say, Miami and the Sixers are the teams I'm afraid of. But you know what? One game at a time, Brandon. One game at a time. Tonight we got Brooklyn. We're going to win by 6. I don't want to hear your pessimism. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to the group chat. I'm texting I'm texting Teo Rubin, and I'm saying, hey, listen, we just did the podcast, and Brandon is being extremely pessimistic about our Cleveland Cavaliers winning tonight.
I still think we're going to make the playoffs. Hey, I didn't say extremely pessimistic. It's just realistic. There's just being pessimistic and hating and being realistic. Like I said, can they absolutely win this game? Of course they can win this game tonight. Do I think they're going to? No. But I do think if this game gets tight, the Cavs have a real chance.
Okay, but if you're going by that logic, any NBA team can beat any NBA team. That's like saying, do I think the Pistons are going to beat the Suns? No, but can they? Yeah.
Well, no, they listen. The regular season's different from a play-in or a playoff, whatever you want to call it. No, that is a different skill level.
Any team can beat any team. That's the way it is.
I'll say this: if the Cavs had Jared Allen tonight, I would pick the Cavs.
Okay. That's fair. I can accept that because Jared Allen, as we talked about last week, in my opinion, is the heart and soul of this Cavs team. And DG has made that huge jump into star status that I believe. I think Evan Mobley is going to be Rookie of the Year, but Jared Allen, man, I mean, he really, all the double doubles he had this year, he took that next step, first time All-Star. People looked at him. Make sure that they're behind him or make sure he's behind them when they're on play so that they can cover, their man. They know that Jared Allen's there to protect the rim. So I agree with that 100%, but I still think I think they're going to go out there. They're going to win this one for Jared Allen. So he can rest up knowing that they're going to be playing in the playoffs on Sunday.
Yeah. It would be Sunday. So for the people that don't know, Miami and Boston's playoff schedule are both set for Sunday. The time would either be 3 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Eastern, or 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So we don't know the time. That hasn't been announced as TBD, but that would be whoever they play, whether it be Boston or Miami, would be on Easter Sunday.
I mean, this is it. We're going to come back next week, and it's either going to be we're in the playoffs. We've already had a playoff game played, and we'll break that down and look towards ahead, or we're going to be talking about the end of the season. So, what episode is this? 26.
26. Yep.
26. Episode 26. Hopefully we go into 27 talking about the playoffs, but if not, Brandon, love this every single week. I'm gonna love it every single week, even if it's the off season. Talking about, are they going to get better? Are they going to sign Sexton? We got a whole lot of stuff still to talk about.
Can we please not talk about that yet? Oh, it's too early.
But I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm just gonna tell you, 116-110 Cavs win tonight. That's what we're going with. Boom, baby.
Can I throw one more name out there? You mentioned a bunch of guys earlier in the podcast, and I forgot to bring this up. I'm giving the guy. He already has this nickname, but I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. Play in Rondo. Rajon Rondo is coming to play tonight. I said it when the trade was made. I said, this is why when Rubio went down, this is why you trade for Rondo in big games like this. If somebody struggles tonight, whether it's Garland or LeVert, Rondo will give you every single quality minute in this play-in tournament because that's what he does. And don't be surprised if he is one of the reasons why the Cavs went. Now I almost want to change my pick.
If Rondo went for like 12, 10, and 10, and we beat Brooklyn, like we're retiring his number after the season.
See, now that you got me talking, you know what? No, that's the peer pressure. Brooklyn wins 110, 106, but it's a very close game. But we will be back here next week covering the 8th seed Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round playoff matchup against Miami. That's my prediction.
You know what, Brandon? We're gonna switch things up this week. I'm just telling you because you are being realistic and completely unmovable, and I don't like it at all. And I am being the Cavs fan that I was born to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. And all I want to tell you is let them know.